top four characters that I think would probably be in Smash right now would be Geno, Shadow the Hedgehog. Honestly, probably even Shadow over Geno because I think the evidence is so strong. But the evidence for Geno is so staggering considering K. Rool and Ridley are coming in. And then I would have to say Skull Kid's probably up there, very high up there for me. Definitely new Pokemon, no duh. And then like Dixie Kong, I think has an extremely strong chance. And Bandana D is someone I'm kind of rooting for. I kind of want to see Bandana D pull out and end up in this game, even though I don't think many people even want him that bad. I kind of think that would be kind of fun and cool. For me, I just named like 6 characters, but 2 of them were Echoes, so or maybe even not. Maybe it was 5 characters with Dixie not being an Echo. It's hard to say, but of course, according to VergeBen, he really thinks Kin is going to be in the game as an Echo. I just can't see it, and that kind of really baffles my mind, the idea of Kin being an Echo, but he seems to be super certain on that, and he hasn't been wrong in a lot of stuff, so I'm considering it. I'm not going to hate it until I see it, because when Smash 4 was coming out, like I said, I would say to people like, oh, they're not going to do Pac-Man. Pac-Man would be stupid. I said Little Mac wouldn't work. Little Mac would be unfaithful. There's no way to do him right. And when I saw Little Mac, when I saw Pac-Man, I was like, holy shit, like, I was wrong. Sakurai knows what he's doing. He knows how to make his characters really interesting and unique. So, can he do Kin justice? Well, I really think it's just a total waste of time to even do the effort to make Kin have the justice he has. I feel like if you're going to go that far, you might as well just make a new character. But, maybe because there's so many animations and keyframes they can take from Ryu, they'll do it. But I really think that Kin will be an Echo that's different from other characters. Like a lot of us are like, hey, what if they just make an Echo of Sonic and they change some of his special moves and they call it Shadow? And everyone's like, great, that makes sense. When it comes to Ryu and Kin, it's like, what if it would be like Kin has to keep all of Ryu's special moves and then has completely different A attacks, which is like not what you would normally expect for an Echo character. So I don't know if they're gonna go for that, but maybe if they can keep a certain amount of attacks and just change a few here and there, it'll make sense and work. But Kin has really fought different from Ryu for a long time now, and the idea of making Kin an Echo of Ryu just doesn't sit well with me at all. I think it's just like an insult to the character. It doesn't make any sense why Street Fighter people would be okay with this, why Capcom would be okay with this. So that's what VergeBen says, whatever. But let's talk about what a lot of people really think is going to happen, that I'm sitting here saying, why do people want this so bad? And I don't understand where this popularity came from. You know, I've noticed that Isaac is an extremely talked about character that people have been wanting so bad. And I just don't understand, first of all, why people think a character from Camelot Studios is going to be, like, I thought that was the whole argument against Waluigi, was that Camelot made Waluigi. Camelot made Isaac, right? So maybe to you that doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter to you who makes the game, as long as it's under Nintendo. Because it was indeed published by Nintendo still, even if it was developed by Camelot. But, so I guess that does count as a Nintendo game. After all, Isaac was in Brawl as an assist trophy. But does the assist, just because he was an assist trophy in Brawl, does that really matter that much? He wasn't in Smash 4, so, and there's a lot of Brawl characters that came back, so it does make you wonder, like, why people want him so bad. And the reason why people want him so bad has all to do with the success and great gameplay of Golden Sun, where the game was pretty solid and pretty good. And I think people don't want Isaac to wash away by the wayside and not have his time in the day, not have his time in the spotlight again. Golden Sun is seemingly kind of over and done with, but I don't see any reason why Smash can't inspire a big revamp. No one knew really. Xenoblade wasn't that popular, and Xenoblade got in Smash 4, and when that happened, I feel like the popularity for the franchise really exploded, and I feel like part of why Xenoblade 2 is so beloved and so popular has a lot to do with the success of Shulk in Super Smash Bros., where people really like Shulk. So, and because you have to also understand, to a lot of people, not everyone knows every character in Smash anyway, especially now when the roster is so big, that when they see characters like Shulk, they don't know the difference between characters like Shulk and Marth. They don't know the difference between characters like Shulk and Olimar. They didn't play, a lot of people didn't play these games. They know Mario, they know the Pokemon characters, and they might not know everyone else. They might know Zelda, they might know a little bit. They might maybe know Inkling now, but like the reality is, a lot of people don't actually know all these Nintendo characters, even though we know them all. Obviously, I know who Isaac is. I knew about Golden Sun. I remember it being talked about, getting really good reviews when it was coming out. It was a very successful game. It was a very popular game, and I think a lot of it had to do with the timing for what it was on the Game Boy Advance, with Game Boy Advance needing games like that at the time. But I was kind of poor back then. On my Game Boy Advance, I didn't even have Pokemon Emerald or Pokemon Ruby or Sapphire. What I had on my Game Boy Advance was, I was playing a lot of my old Game Boy games and hand-me-down Game Boy games that my brother gave me, because we didn't really have all the new Game Boy Advance games. And when I did get a Game Boy Advance game, it wasn't always what I wanted it to be. And also on Game Boy Advance, I ended up getting games like Sonic Advance, Donkey Kong Country Remake, other Super Nintendo remakes, because I could trust those games. I got Kirby Amazing Mirror, which that game is probably the game I played the most on my Game Boy Advance of every game I've ever clocked hours in. And boy, I really do love that game. That game was fantastic. So, but I don't want to shit on Isaac just because I didn't play his game, and I could go back and play his game at any time. But a game I'd rather play, honestly, would be like Super Mario RPG, or rebeat Final Fantasy 6 or 7 again. Honestly, I started replaying Persona 5 a few months ago, and I kind of dropped it. And I've already beat the game before, but I might play more Persona 5 in the future. If I want to sink my teeth into a JRPG, that might be the direction I might want to go in, versus playing something like Golden Sun, which to me, while it might have been a great JRPG at the time, when I look at the gameplay and I look at what it's trying to go for, it doesn't really seem that fulfilling, but it does seem like, yeah, this was pretty good for what it was at the time. And it is good that Isaac got the representation he deserved in Brawl. But to me, really, that was representation Isaac deserved. I don't really think Isaac ever earned more than being an assist trophy, Just because he is a Nintendo character, technically, I don't think that really means he has that standing power, that brand power. However, if he was in Smash, maybe people would buy Golden Sun games. Maybe people don't care much about Golden Sun, and if you would have put the fucker in Smash, maybe he would have more brand recognition. And it's funny because characters like Captain Falcon, man, F-Zero gets no love. Like, no one cares about fucking F-Zero, man. And yet Captain Falcon's, such a staple in Smash. That's kind of how it is, man. People want more of Earthbound. They want more They want Mother 3 in America. And, when I played Mother 3 and I played Earthbound, part of it was because I liked Ness and Smash. I also heard a lot of people in these communities talking about or Mother 3 and how, like, they wish people could buy it physically, and they went out and they played the game translated and said it was really good. It was like, right up there, just as good as Earthbound, in my opinion. I agree. I love Mother 3. That game was fucking fantastic. I love that Lucas is in Smash. It sucks to me because, like, people who play as Ness and Lucas have no idea what Earthbound is like, really. And I know some of you guys watch videos here and there and you think you know, but when you actually play the game, it's seriously a fucking journey. It's a goddamn experience. You're going on the road, an adventure of a lifetime with these characters. So really, playing the game is a lot different from just talking about the game and hearing cool tidbits here and there. But when you see Lucas's final smash now, you see some of his side characters, the dog and the girl Kumatora, who has like the magic abilities of that game. Seeing them in Smash, that just makes me so happy. Seeing them as part of his final Smash, and even seeing Paula and Pooh come up next to Ness. These are great things. This is awesome. Like that just makes me so happy to see these characters being represented in Smash. So I love it, and I could understand that like that stuff is really important for the people who played the games, and it helps people get into the games. If Nintendo wants to reuse Golden Sun to push Golden Sun, putting Isaac in Smash would be a fantastic start. Especially because as we see with Xenoblade, just because they don't even have to use Isaac in the new Golden Sun game. They could actually make a new Golden Sun game with a new character. As long as it's called Golden Sun, people will appreciate it. Because I really think that's part. I mean, when people played Xenoblade 2, they knew they weren't getting Shulk and they didn't care. You know, they were just like, "Oh, good, Xenoblade." Like they didn't care. So I do believe that it does not matter. And if they wanted to push Golden Sun, putting Isaac in would be perfect. But the idea is, are they going to try to push Golden Sun? Are they going to use Isaac? Characters don't need to be relevant to be put in Smash. But does Isaac actually have that popularity? I want to say something right here, right now. I know I kind of waited 10 minutes into the video to say this, but guys, in my humble opinion, I really don't think it matters the Smash fan ballots and all that stuff. I don't think that stuff matters as much as people think. Now, granted, K. Rool was like #1 in Japan, and that kind of really shook me. That kind of really changed my perception of that character. It made me realize like, you know, Ridley was like this meme, and he was definitely the biggest of the memes that people really wanted Ridley. And K. Rool was like under him. And when I saw how popular he was in Japan and on the Smash ballot, and how he won the fucking ballot in Japan, at least according to Source Gaming, then it's like, how could you not put him in, you know? Obviously, we don't have the correct ballot numbers. No one really does. I wish Sakurai would release that. Maybe he'll release it much later. But as of right now, we don't really know the exact numbers, but we do know that Ridley and K. Rool were very popular. Ridley being more popular in the West, K. Rool being more popular in Japan. I didn't realize K. Rool was popular in Japan. I thought K. Rool was more popular here in the West. I didn't realize Donkey Kong was that popular over there. And because it is like a European game, and you know it's made by Rare after all. And I always saw Rare as like Western because European, and Donkey Kong's really popular in America. Donkey Kong's extremely popular in America. But people want K. Rool, man, and that's awesome. And when it comes to Isaac, just because he's popular in the ballot, I don't necessarily think that means that means he's popular amongst hardcores, because hardcores were the people who voted in the Smash ballot. Let's be honest. That's who voted. It was the hardcore fans. And now, giving the hardcore fans a bone or two, that's important. But to me, I think Ridley and K. Rool are that bone. And while people might want to make the case that the most important character that they care about and they want to see is Isaac. And I feel like I just don't know. And maybe it's because I wasn't there at the time. I just don't know. I saw a guy talking about Isaac, and he said he didn't play Mario RPG or Golden Sun, and he decided that he kind of liked Isaac more than Geno, and kind of thought Isaac had a better chance than Geno. I definitely don't think that, mainly just because Sakurai actually talked about Geno. But the reality is like, if you were there at the time, you know, I wasn't a part of Smash boards. I wasn't a part of that community where I really got on forums and talked about how I wanted Geno. I did see a lot of people talk about putting Geno in Smash and how it made sense. And there was a lot of people who've always recognized Super Mario RPG as this very grand and big and important game that, for me, growing up, I just loved the game. But I always thought Geno should be in the game. And I've talked about this on video before. I always thought Geno should be in the game because he just seemed like such a cool and special character, and he was obscure in Mario's past. And I always thought that obscure characters actually kind of work in Smash because it celebrates stuff like the history of Nintendo in a really cool and proper way. You know, later on I started to realize why Geno might not be in Smash, and it has all more to do with Square Enix than it does Nintendo. And When it comes to Ultimate, it seems like Sakurai really doesn't give a fuck, and nothing's stopping him. He's putting in the characters that he wants. He wants the fans to be happy. He's putting in some fantastic characters so far. I really think Ridley looks super fun to play. I know K-Rool is making a lot of people happy. Inkling has more to do with Nintendo in like pushing the new franchise, and not to mention Splatoon is super popular and doing really well. Not including Inkling at this point just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. Plus, if you include Inkling, you get to include all that music from Splatoon, and you know that's what they want to do, and you know the music from Splatoon is already in the game. Like, I had to mod that shit into Smash already, dude. Like, that shit's awesome. So, yeah, of course they're gonna do that shit. But what I want people to understand is that while Isaac might be really popular with hardcores, the Smash ballot doesn't exactly determine everything. And I know that might sound hypocritical of me when I say I want Geno and, um, you know, they want Isaac, and they're both obscure RPG characters. And a lot of people even say, well, Isaac is at least the main character of his game. Geno's not the main character from RPG. And it's like, yeah, but he's the character, he's the standout character in Super Mario RPG that isn't Mario. And some people are like, yeah, but he's just a side character. But really, he's not just a side character. He's a lot more than that. He's really important to the story. I know if you're trying to boil it down to be like, yeah, but at the end of the day, he is just a side character. Well, there's only two side characters in Mario RPG that aren't Mario, Princess, and Bowser, okay? Like, putting Geno in is a good call. Like, it just makes sense if you play the game. Um, Especially considering his importance in the story. But Geno is also, like, this isn't just any other game. This is Mario RPG. And I know, like, I'm about to talk about another character that might, and that's where this is going to come confusing. I guess I'll bring it up right here. Mario RPG inspired a genre of games for Mario that are obviously RPGs. And the thing is, those Mario RPG was made by Square back before Square Enix, and this was like during the height of their fire. This is in between Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy VII. This is after Chrono Trigger. This is when Square Enix is just fucking dominating. Just, they were gods at this time period. You don't understand. These guys were the kings of video games at this time. They were probably, Final Fantasy was seriously so successful back then. And I played those games before. I played Final Fantasy VI before I played Mario RPG. I played Mario RPG before 7, obviously, because 7 was a PS1 game. But I played Mario RPG, we rented it, and I remember thinking it was so cool. It was like nothing I've ever seen before, because it was like a story-driven Mario game, and it blew my mind, and that's what I really wanted. And that is also what really influenced my decision in getting Paper Mario on the N64 when it came out. And Paper Mario quickly became one of my favorite games of all time, and by far, when I was that age, I thought it was the best N64 game I had ever played. I thought it was better than Mario 64, and a lot of my friends didn't understand, and it was really hard for me to explain to them, because to me, it wasn't about the genre. To me, it was about, like, just what you do is fun in the game, and the story's really good. And I like games with story. I like games where, where you get powerful and level up. I like games where you go on an adventure. And Mario RPG had all those elements. And I also, at that point in time, like when Beautiful Joe came out, I really knew that I liked, like, side-scrolling games. I liked old-school games. I liked minimal 2D graphic style games. I liked that shit a lot. And at that age, I really realized that, my bread and butter was on the Super Nintendo. And Paper Mario was like a throwback to older style graphics in an age full of 3D polygonal graphics. And I really appreciated it. I loved the simplified art style. I actually always loved when Capcom would make, like, I loved the Street Fighter Alpha games. I loved Marvel vs. Capcom. I loved the Mega Man X4, 5. I loved Mega Man 8. Because I loved that Capcom would always make 2D games. Not always, obviously. They made Resident Evil and all that. And I played Mega Man Legends as well. But I really enjoyed 2D games on PS1. I always thought they were better than 3D games. And it was hard for me to explain to people why, It's like, and I had Castlevania 64. Or no, I actually had the one after that, where you play as the girl and the guy with the whip. That's not Belmont. But I had that, and I really wish I had Symphony of the Night because that was a 2D game, and I know now that I love Symphony of the Night. That's an amazing game. So when Paper Mario came out, there was a lot of decisions that influenced me on why I should get it, and I really enjoyed that game. And I didn't have a GameCube, but eventually I did buy a GameCube after like the 360 and was already out and everything. And I went and I played Paper Mario Thousand Year Door because my friend had it. I'm very grateful because the game would probably been too expensive for me to download to find. I wish I could download it. The best part about games today is that if there's a really rare game, you can just download it on the eShop or something, or it might be on a PS4 or something. But that's the best thing about today. But you can't always download games. Like I don't think you can download Paper Mario Thousand Year Door anywhere. However, you can download Paper Mario 64 on the Wii U and the Wii. However, I own that game on 64 still to this day, and if I wanted to dig it up, I have save files of me and my two brothers, and I think my little brother has another save file, and they're all like beaten. They're all game complete. And that's because we all three adore that game, and I'm bringing this up because it pains me to say that I really think Paper Mario has zero chance of being in the game. And while some of you guys might say, yeah, but he's a different character from Mario. Listen, I wanted Paper Mario in Smash Bros. When Paper Mario first came out, I thought that they should put Paper Mario in the second Smash Bros. And the reason why is because I liked Paper Mario more than regular Mario. Literally, I like Mario more in RPGs than as a platformer when I was a kid. I really didn't start to appreciate platformer Mario games until I got older, when I really like destroyed Super Mario World by myself on the Game Boy Advance version, no less. And then played a lot of Super Mario All Stars out of boredom, and realizing those classics like Mario Brothers and Mario Bros 3 and even Mario Bros 2 are just like super fun and good games. Like those are some of my favorite games of all time, and it's funny. Like a lot of people probably wouldn't say, "What's your favorite game of all time?" Like the original Super Mario Bros. Like most people probably wouldn't bring that game up and talking about like amazing games, but I feel like objectively, it's one of the best games ever designed and ever created. And Super Mario Bros. 3 just like tops that formula in so many ways. And then of course Super Mario World's so good too. And then it was a lot later when I started to appreciate those platforming Mario games that and even though I love the story and lore of all those games, it was really the RPG games that really helped me flesh out Mario in my mind, because they're really, most people don't even know. It's hard to imagine what Mario does on a day-to-day basis. Like we know what Sonic and Mega Man do every single day. We know what we even know what Pac-Man does now, and it's kind of stupid because Pac-Man never really needed that. But we know what a lot of video game characters do in their day-to-day life. We know what, like, we could imagine like a cartoon of Zelda where Link would probably be like adventuring most of the time. He'd probably be camping out, traveling, riding Epona around, trying to do stuff. But when it came to Mario stuff, I would watch the Mario cartoons, and those were not canon at all. And they didn't feel canon either. They felt stupid. Even as a kid, I thought it was stupid. When I got older, I went back and rewatched some of the Mario show, and I actually did enjoy it a lot. However, there's definitely no, like, Toad is just an idiot, like, and they keep talking about pasta and shit. Like, it's like it just does not feel like Mario. Same with the Sonic cartoon show back in the day, but at least the Sonic cartoon show got Sonic's attitude down right. At least the Sonic cartoon show, Sonic and the one with Sally in it and everything like that, where with Evil Robotnik, to me that was like what Mario RPG was for Sonic. And so that story is awesome. And so I know people might say like Paper Mario should represent this RPG stuff over Geno. And again, when I was younger, I actually, before Melee came out, I wanted Paper Mario to be in the game. I wanted Paper Mario to be in Smash, and I thought it'd be really cool if he was completely flat. And that's what they ended up doing with Mr. Game & Watch. In fact, even Mr. Game & Watch even had a hammer like I wanted Paper Mario to have. But at the end of the day, we're not getting Paper Mario. And I'm fine with this. If they wanted to do Paper Mario, I feel like they would have put him in Brawl, or they would have done him by now. I feel like there's a strong reason why they haven't done Paper Mario and why they keep not doing Paper Mario. And the thing that the fans have to understand is that they know so little. What Nintendo has to do is they have to promote everything. They have to promote their entire past while trying to promote the future. Because they want you to understand and enjoy all of their past games while wanting to play more of those games in that franchise. And right now Star Fox Zero didn't do so well, so there's possibly not going to be another like new Star Fox game for a while, and that saddens me. But at least we're getting Metroid Prime 4, and Jesus Christ, for the love of God, will you please make an F-Zero game? But the thing is that Paper Mario is Mario, and that it's just too confusing. What are they gonna do? Are they going to make Paper Mario a 2D character like Game and Watch? Because the only way to do Paper Mario would be to literally make him 2D, because he's already a 2D character in a 3D world, much like Game and Watch. So he would have to be another 2D flat style character. It's not that this idea is wrong or impossible and it should never be. I do think there is a time and a place for Paper Mario, but I'm wondering if it really will be an Ultimate, and I'm wondering if it will be in a game that possibly will have less characters than Ultimate. I'm not sure when Paper Mario's time will be, but usually Paper Mario has trophies in Smash and stickers in Brawl. Like Paper Mario franchise has had representation in Smash, but it's never really in the form of an assist trophy. It's never really in the form of a character. They did make a Paper Mario stage on 3DS, and I do believe it's coming back. And I don't really think they would have shown Paper Mario if they were going to also show that stage. So I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't save Paper Mario and then not show the stage. So I don't think Sakurai thinks about Paper Mario for even a second. I think he's like, no, Paper Mario is Mario, and Paper Mario represents Mario the way it does. Smash represents Mario with fireballs, capes, FLUDD, and Cappy. And he has the punch combo from Mario 64. That he's only really had that punch combo in that game. That's about it. When it comes to representing Mario in Paper Mario, they choose the hammer from Donkey Kong, which that's Mario. Mario gets hammers. He was in Wrecking Crew. He was in a lot of games that weren't just, Super Mario Brothers. He is from other games. They chose hammers. They chose jumping on people's heads, which you don't really jump on people's heads in Mario or in Smash Bros. When you're playing as Mario. You don't really jump on people's heads. So, not to do damage at least. So, it's like, that's how they chose to represent Mario in that game. This is how they choose to represent Mario in Smash. So I know what some people think Paper Mario is a different character. It's not really a different. That's like saying Mario from Mario Kingdom Battle is a different Mario because he's a gun. It's really not. It really is just Mario. Really, these characters are supposed to be these characters for a reason. I love Mario. By the way, I do love Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. That game's fucking amazing. I love all things Mario at this point in my life. Whenever I see Mario on something, whether it be a party game, tennis, a racing game, an RPG, a tactical RPG, anything with Mario on it, I love it. But what people need to understand about Paper Mario is that Paper Mario is Mario. It's not a different Mario. It's the same Mario. It's got a different canon and a different lore, but it is Mario. So if you like Mario from Paper Mario, then you should just play as Mario. Okay? What you should be asking for is items and stages from Paper Mario, and maybe even assist trophies that are villains from Paper Mario. I know Super Paper Mario had this really crazy villain. That game, Super Paper Mario on Wii, was just a fucking crazy fucking game. And that's what you should be asking for. Or you should be asking for a Paper Mario game that's an actual RPG, and not just that weird shit that they're doing with uh, on Wii U, that Color Splash game. Honestly, if you want to play Paper Mario, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam on 3DS, that is a fucking good. That's a fucking good game, and that's probably my favorite Mario and Luigi game, just because the battle system includes more characters. Like just because it's three characters instead of two, and that was me. I played that after playing Mario and Luigi Dream Team, and honestly, the only reason I'm not buying the new ones because I didn't even play the Game Boy Advance ones or the DS ones. I've only played the 3DS ones. The only reason I'm not buying the new ones is because I just don't want to play on my 3DS again. I'd really love to play a Mario and Luigi RPG on the Switch, and now that the Switch kind of merges handheld and console, I really am excited because there's gonna be a Pokemon game on the Switch. Uh, I really am excited to play a Mario and Luigi RPG game on Switch, and I love and I might not get that because they keep making these games on 3DS. At least I have Mario and Rabbids, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. That game was seriously a treat. So at least I have that. But hopefully we get another real Mario RPG. Maybe it'll have to be in the form of Super Mario RPG 2. Maybe it'll be in the form of Paper Mario in returning to its glory. But right now, Nintendo has two different RPG franchises with Mario. And really, Paper Mario kind of died off when Mario and Luigi came up, and Paper Mario really hasn't been the same since Mario and Luigi came out as an RPG. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but I do know that Mario and Luigi is a fantastic franchise. But again, and they use hammers in those games too. But I wouldn't say I want Mario and Luigi together as like a team up team like Ice Climbers, and that's different from Mario and Luigi. No, it's the same character. So what I'm trying to say, guys, Paper Mario is not going to be in the game, and that's just not going to happen. If you want to represent Mario RPG games, the best way to do it is literally with Geno, because otherwise you're making another version of Mario, it's just not. It doesn't make any sense. It's just going to confuse people. And people who want to play Paper Mario, they don't need to see Paper Mario and Smash to play Paper Mario, because Paper Mario is fucking Mario. So no, and this is coming from someone who loves Paper Mario and wanted Paper Mario and Smash. I want Geno in still over all that. What I can't argue over is Isaac, because that doesn't represent Nintendo RPGs. That Isaac represents Golden Sun. And if Nintendo wanted to put Isaac in and push for Golden Sun, that would really revitalize the whole franchise. But maybe they don't want to put him in because they don't want to plan another sequel. Though I have heard Golden Sun name has been trademarked recently or something like that. But I don't know if Isaac has no chance in hell. But I do think that I don't know why people seem to think he has such a chance. Or maybe they think if the fans just keep demanding it, it'll happen. But as more time goes on, I feel like less and less people are going to want Isaac, because his games really weren't as iconic as people are making him out to be. It's just kind of our generation who grew up with Game Boy Advance are in college. They're actually getting out of college now. They're actually getting quite old and getting towards their 30s. And we're not, we don't need, we want this character because it's nostalgic for us. But it's not nostalgic for the oldest hardcore Nintendo fans, and it's not nostalgic for kids at all, obviously. They're not playing games with Isaac in it, so Smash kind of makes more sense. I mean, there's no reason, what I just said is no reason to not put Isaac in. Honestly, there is reasons to put Isaac in, but it just depends on what they're trying to go for. So I can't really say yes or no if I see Isaac or not, but it just doesn't seem like Nintendo really cares. It doesn't seem like Nintendo ever has really cared about Isaac. Whereas Geno, Isaac wasn't even in Smash 4, and he didn't even get a Mii Fighter costume. So I just don't think I don't know. I feel like there's so much more evidence pointing at Geno. And I know Sakurai here's the fans on that, but it seems like Sakurai also has to actually like that franchise and like that character, and he has said in an interview he wants Geno. And I'm not saying Isaac doesn't have a chance, I just think Geno has a bigger chance. For right now, my focus just isn't on just isn't really on Isaac. You know, it's like there was like a Reddit Smash poll, and Shante won overwhelmingly, and like Shovel Knight was really close. And it's like Shante. I don't know why people want Shante so bad. Some people say, well, because of the history of Nintendo, it makes sense. What? No, it doesn't. Just because she was on the Game Boy Color back in the day, who cares? No one played those games back then. You know, people didn't really play. Shantae didn't really get popular until like these more recent Shantae games. You know, no one really played those Game Boy Advance games or Game Boy Color games. You know, so who cares? Um, and honestly, I would love Shantae in the game because I've never even played a Shantae game. I always put it on my Steam wish list. I think Shantae looks really cool. I really like her design. So I'm not against it. I'm not opposed to it, but maybe I should just play a Shantae game and I'll want her. But it just looks like a simple platformer to me, and well, it definitely has personality, and I love the art. I love her design. I love what the villains look like. I love a lot about Shantae, and I do like Way Forward as a studio. I think Way Forward is great. So I don't. It's like I don't know why people want Shantae. I definitely when people say that, oh, because Shovel Knight is an assist trophy, that means Shantae is most likely going to represent indie games in Smash. No, I don't. I think Smash isn't going to represent indie games with a character. I think they're only going to represent indie games with assist trophies and regular trophies. And to me, I felt like there was no way Shovel Knight wasn't getting in the game because Bit Trip Runner, Commander Vision, I think his name is. Either I forget his name exactly, but the character from Bit Trip Runner is in Smash. Oh, isn't it Commander Vision or something like that? He's in the game as a trophy, and it's like no, there's no way Shovel Knight's not getting in the game at least as a trophy. But he's an assist trophy, and to me, if Shovel Knight's an assist trophy, that means Shantae's is not getting in. And I know some people who think that Shantae's more popular than Shovel Knight. No, the Smash community thinks so. She might be more popular in the Smash community, but she's not more popular than Shovel Knight in general. No, it's just not true. Sakurai cares what the fans say, but only to a certain extent. There's some stuff. Sakurai's just one guy. You know, he has his own opinions. So he doesn't really care. It's not a fucking democracy. He's the dictator of Smash. So he has to actually like the ideas and stuff. And I don't see any reason or evidence why he would put Shantae into Smash. And I think that the fact Shovel Knight's assist trophy only shows that it's not happening. Because, again, I don't think they would show an indie assist trophy if they weren't going to show an indie character. I think that just means Shovel Knight is actually an assist trophy. And I think that's amazing for indie game people. And I think indie game people should just be fine with that. As far as, like, anyone else goes, like, I know a lot of people want Rayman. Rayman wasn't put in Smash 4 for a reason, and I'm pretty sure Sakurai doesn't care to put Rayman in now. So, yeah. Sorry, this video did run on kind of long, but I just wanted to stress the importance of why I don't think that Isaac, Paper Mario, and Shantae aren't coming in. I barely talked about Shantae at all, but it wasn't necessary. It was much more necessary to talk about Geno, Paper Mario, really just Paper Mario and Geno. And the thing about Isaac is, I already stated in this video, I don't know. I just don't know about him. I'm just, to me, I feel like he's at a 40% chance, and like I'm saying is, I know I wasn't there. I wasn't playing the game when it was popular and big, and it was definitely big. I remember it being big, but guys, you have to remember that like, it just doesn't seem like Nintendo really cares, and yeah, and it is Camelot, not Nintendo, even though, Nintendo published it. But I don't know. He was in Brawl. That's probably the best he was ever going to get. I don't know why he's not an assist trophy anymore. I feel like, but he's not been deconfirmed yet. So there's still hope. I feel like he is like at 40%. But I'm definitely thinking it's below 50 because I just don't see any love for Isaac from Nintendo. And I know people keep showing that screenshot, but I feel like people are grasping at straws here. It's like people got so into this idea that course kids and Chrom were going to be in Smash 4, and even like a guy who leaked it like seemed like he had insider information on so much of the rest, and there apparently was data for um, the Chorus Kids in Smash 4, and it just didn't come to fruition. And so to me, it's like, yeah, I don't think the Chorus Kids have a chance. So, um, yeah. But the reason why I bring that up is because it's like sometimes people get so dead set on a leak being like, these characters have to be in the game. These characters, it just makes so much sense for these characters to be in the game. And a lot of people have been guessing at characters, and they're starting to feel really hot. They're starting to feel like they have really cracked the code because they're guessing at characters. But the characters that have been revealed so far have been nothing short but incredibly obvious. Now Ridley was revealed, and no one really called that. So you got to give the people who leaked that, you got to give them credit. And that's why people give Virgin a lot of credit, because he said Ridley right off the bat, and he also said Simon right off the bat. But you have to understand that the leak involving, or the guess that everything after Ridley was kind of obvious. Simon was really obvious because it's like if Konami was back, Konami had Bomberman and Snake in the game, and it just makes you wonder like, how would they not have, how would they not do Simon Belmont if they have Konami on board, and when they have Mario, Sonic, and Mega Man, Castlevania is like the last one that they need, to have like the big old school game characters. Castlevania was a big old school game character, especially in the NES times, and Castlevania managed to stay big even into the PS1 days, thanks to Symphony of the Night. So it's like, you really got to show Castlevania some love here, guys. It's a giant franchise, a big series, and it's probably one of Konami's most famous series. I would say probably even more so than Metal Gear Solid. Well, maybe not. Metal Gear Solid really is iconic. Scratch that. But they're both so popular for Konami. So, and yeah, so you got to show Simon Belmont some love. And yeah, Simon Belmont being put in the game, yeah, it was kind of obvious. When it comes to Chrom and Dark Samus, I was on the fence for them, and then I think a little right before they were announced, I really put all the pieces together people were talking about, and it seemed like a lot of people had it already figured out that Chrom and Dark Samus were obviously going to be in the game. It was kind of obvious, again. And those same people, and that gave more credibility to the idea that Isabelle and Shadow will also be in the game, where people also mentioned them not being there. And now I'm really thinking, yeah, it's kind of obvious. And so when they put Isabelle in, yeah, I called that. I didn't call it she'd be an original character, but I called it. Isabelle would totally be in the game. It was kind of obvious. Everything but Ridley was obvious. And K. Rool was obvious, but only because Ridley was already announced. K. Rool wouldn't have been obvious unless Ridley was announced. But yeah, it's kind of obvious. I feel like at this point, a lot of us have a good idea of who's coming next. And a lot of people I think the obvious choices are honestly what's going to happen. Geno being one of the most obvious choices. Yeah, it's kind of obvious. And Virgin kind of covered his bases here by saying a Square Enix rep, meaning it could be Sora and it could be Geno. It's probably not going to be Sora. It's probably going to be Geno. So yeah, it's kind of obvious. Geno's coming. And I think when Shadow's announced, it'll be really obvious. But what I don't think is obvious is Tails. And the more I think about Tails, the more I think he actually does have a chance, which is kind of fucked up to me. But that's going to be like, characters like Tails and Geno are going to be the two ones that, like, if either one of those happen, I'll be ecstatic. But at the end of the day, I don't really care, because the fact that Cloud and Snake are in it, those are like my two favorite video game characters. So like the fact they're in it, it's like I'm gonna love this game no matter what. Like, but even before that, like Mega Man was in it, Sonic is in it. So like I already don't care because I love Sonic and Mega Man. And at the end of the day, I love Smash already on its own. I don't need these characters to be happy. I'm gonna main Link And Link's not my favorite video game character of all time, and Zelda's not my favorite video game franchise of all time. In fact, I think people who have Triforce tattoos are really basic and cringy. But at the end of the day, I did love Breath of the Wild, and I do love Zelda: Link to the Past and Link Between Worlds. And I've beaten Ocarina of Time. I thought that game was really solid. I actually do think it's a really good game. Um, so, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for this shit. So, I don't know, man. Let's see what happens. But I don't know. So I do think that as far as my top characters go, I think Geno's my number one choice. But I do think Shadow. I guess Geno's a little bit more likely than Shadow. But Shadow's my number two as an Echo, most likely, with Incineroar or any other Gen 7 as my next one. And then I would have to say Dixie Kong as 4, with Bandana Waddle Dee as 5. Who did I say earlier? I said 6 characters earlier. I don't even remember anymore at this point. But those are probably my top 5 choices of characters I really do think have a strong... Skull Kid. I forgot about Skull Kid. I would say Skull Kid's probably under Incineroar as... I would say... No, I would say Skull Kid's above Incineroar. I'm going to restart. I would say Geno's number 1, then Shadows as an Echo number 2, then I would say Skull Kid, then I would say Incineroar, only because it might be another Pokemon, and if it's another Pokemon, then Incineroar's probably not happening. And then I would say number 5 would be Dixie Kong. So, and then, I would say that. So that's kind of what I'm predicting here. Though I would love to see Heihachi or another Tekken character, and I would love to see as far as other third parties, I'm not sure who I would love to see, but as far as Nintendo characters, I don't really know who I want to see. So that's really all I would care about. Oh, I would love to see Tails. Please give me Tails. Tails and Shadow, please. So that's what I have to say. That's my prediction. So there you guys go.